Welcome to the Monday Mile edition of the Over 50 Health and Wellness Show, your quick hit of inspiration and practical advice to kickstart your week strong. Each Monday, I'll be joined by one of our Silver Edge coaches as we tackle one specific topic you might be struggling with, whether that's nutrition, fitness, mindset, or lifestyle, and we'll break it down into clear, simple, actionable tips you can start using today. And here's the best part. You can knock out this episode on your morning walk. Just lace up those sneakers, hit the pavement, and let us coach you through the first mile of the week. Okay, let's get moving. All right, folks, it's just me today, and what I want to do is I want to talk about something that happens every single year, and that's the great New Year's resolution crash and burn. Right? Y'all feel me on this? Every single January, gyms are going to be overflowing. They're going to fill up to the max. Diet apps are going to get downloaded. Carbohydrate intake is going to plummet, and motivation's at an all-time high. And by February, well, let's just say your gym has got plenty of parking again. And here's the crazy part. Over 90% of New Year's resolutions fail, especially when those resolutions involve losing weight, exercising more, or getting healthier. But here's the good news. You can be the exception if you understand why people fail and how to approach January differently. So today we're going to dive into the real reason resolutions fall apart and crash and burn, why motivation has absolutely nothing to do with long-term success, why people over 50 actually have an advantage if they do this right, and the simple framework that actually works. And hey, if you're serious about making 2026 the year you finally change your body for once and for all, enrollment for the Silver Edge Collective is going to open December 27th, but only for our priority waitlist members. So priority waitlist members get first access. We got some cool bonuses in there. They get guaranteed enrollment. If you guys are interested, you can learn more. Check out the link in the show notes. You can find that on whatever app you're listening to this on, or of course over on our website. So let's get into why resolutions die faster than a treadmill in mid-January. Okay, here's the deal. Most resolutions fail for one simple reason. People start motivated and build nothing underneath it. So motivation is emotional gasoline. It burns bright, but it burns fast. Here's what usually happens. January 1st, I am so ready. This is my year. January 14th, this is a lot harder than I thought. February 1st, maybe I'll try again next year. Sound familiar? Look, the problem is not motivation. The problem is relying on motivation as the strategy. So think of it this way. Depending on motivation for weight loss is a lot like depending on fireworks for home lighting. Yeah, it's going to look great for about 3 seconds, and then there's going to be total darkness and destruction. People don't need more motivation. They need more clarity, structure, and consistency. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about the willpower lie, because I think you guys know this, but motivation is your fickle friend. So here's the second reason why most resolutions fail. People try to use willpower to fight biology. So willpower is great for maybe not sending that angry text, or not eating your kids' leftover chicken nuggets, or holding your tongue at Thanksgiving. But willpower is terrible at managing your hunger, your energy, your stress, your sleep, your hormones, especially for those of us over 50. Most people think they fail because they lack discipline, but in reality, their plan required an inhuman level of discipline to begin with. You don't fail because you're weak. You fail because your plan was unrealistic. Your brain will always choose comfort, familiarity, predictability. That is not a character flaw. That is an evolutionary advantage. But it means you can't build a plan that depends on resisting temptation all day, every day for the rest of your life. You need a plan that removes temptation and replaces it with structure. So we did a podcast a while back, I think it was Coach Monica and I, where we talked about willpower and motivation. And look, before I throw both of them under the bus, I think motivation and willpower are wonderful things. I think you should have both. But know this, think of it this way. Think about them as two wells, right? Wells that have liquid in the bottom. So you got a little bit of motivation in this well, and you got a little bit of discipline in this well. And you can lower your bucket down into the well, and you can fill it up, and you can wheel it back up, and there's your motivation, right? But it's a finite resource. One of these days, you're going to lower that bucket down and you're going to hear it just clank. It's going to hit the bottom, the dry bottom of the well. There's no more motivation in there. Same thing with your discipline well. You're going to lower that bucket down. You're going to come up with a nice big bucket of discipline, and that'll get you through the next a couple of days, then you lower it down again, get some more, until one day you lower it down, you hear clank, it just hits the dry bottom. So we need to have a structure, a lifestyle where we have a way of replenishing those resources, but you're not going to long-term white knuckle your way or motivate your way through permanently losing your next 20, 30, 40, however many pounds. So resolutions fail because they're built on pain. They're built on discomfort. Most resolutions start from a place of shame and guilt or embarrassment or frustration or maybe even panic. Post-holiday bloat, the jeans that are getting tighter and tighter, the fear of aging. Maybe it's a disappointing doctor's appointment that you just as soon forget. Maybe you're uncomfortable getting undressed in front of your partner. So people think, I'm going to fix this all right now. So they start the year out with a bang. They have this extreme diet. I'm only going to eat salads, or these vicious, crazy 5-day-a-week, 2-hour-long workouts in the gym. Or maybe they're doing some goofy fasting protocol, or no sugar ever, no alcohol ever, no life ever. And January just becomes punishment. And look, most of you listening to this are responsible adults. You could probably suck it up and do that for a month. Can you do that for the rest of your life? God, I hope not. It sounds miserable. But your brain has this one really important job, and that's avoid pain. So by week 2, week 3, certainly by week 4 of that, your brain's going to revolt. It doesn't want punishment. It wants a path. It wants a plan that feels good and not miserable. Maybe you can white knuckle your way through broccoli and dried chicken breast for a month, but not for a lifetime. And you shouldn't. Resolutions fail because they ignore the real problem. So the real reason why resolutions fail is they fixate on weight loss and not metabolism building. So they're focused on the wrong thing. Most of you start out saying, I'm going to lose 50 pounds by, beach season, whatever it is, right? Or I'm going to lose this 20 pounds once and for all. But if you're over 50, you absolutely cannot starve yourself, burn yourself out with crazy cardio and try and lose weight fast. I mean, you can do those things, but you know where that leads, right? Because fat weight loss is going to destroy muscle. It's going to destroy metabolism. It's going to trash your hormones. It's definitely going to trash your energy. And in the end, it's going to just completely trash your confidence. And then you're going to gain the weight back, plus some. Where does that leave you? Not in a good place. Not because you're lazy, not because you quote unquote fell off, not because you didn't have motivation, not because you weren't disciplined enough, not because February is cursed for you, but because your plan was crappy. It wasn't designed for your age. It wasn't designed for your biology, for your metabolism. It certainly wasn't designed for your lifestyle. The resolution failed way before you did. So let's talk about how to be the exception in 2026, because here's the great news. People over 50 actually have, I think, an advantage. Yeah, like an actual advantage when it comes to a fitness-related resolution this year. Why? Because we're old enough and wise enough to stop believing all the quick fixes. We're old enough not to keep falling for the same thing, the same story over and over and over again. You're old enough to understand that slow is fast, that sustainable actually matters, that muscle is medicine, and that's getting out into mainstream culture now, actually, that food is fuel, and that recovery is essential. So here's how to win in 2026. Got a little roadmap for you. Number 1, if you are constantly dieting, crash dieting, stop starving yourself. Just stop. Food feeds your metabolism. Don't fight it. Number 2, if you're not already, strength train consistently. Muscle is the engine of fat loss after 50. And when I say strength training, yes, I'm talking to you ladies as well as you guys. And I don't mean those little pink hand weights. And I don't mean that goofy class where you jump around doing jumping jacks and then you do some push-ups and then you pick up your hand weights and do some curls. Not talking about that either. Number 3, prioritize protein. Lean protein controls hunger. It's going to build the tissues that change your body positively. Number 4, think about building habits, not heroic efforts. Consistency is going to beat intensity every single time. Number 5, get some accountability. If you try to overhaul your life alone, you're just going to end up losing. Not because you're not capable, but because as human beings, we're not designed to change in isolation. You become the exception by building a system, not a sprint. All right, so let me just share a quick story with you guys. I had a client, this is not too long ago, a client of mine, he was in his, I think he was early 50s, and we're talking about January resolutions. He said every January I would swear this is my year, and by February I'd be in the what did he say? I'd be eating Oreos in my car like a raccoon or something goofy like that. In other words, he would swear that January is year. And do the classic, I'm going to hit the gym 5 days a week. I'm going to only eat chicken breast, blah, blah, blah. And by February, he's eating sleeves of Oreos in his car like a feral raccoon. And so what he did was he tried to change one thing. He didn't rely on motivation, didn't rely on willpower, didn't try and do anything extreme. But what he did do was decide, hey, I need a strategic plan to eat the right amount of food. And for him, that was more food to start with. He needed to, in his case, actually back off of his workouts that he was doing and just start a 3-day-a-week full body functional workout plan. He definitely needed to bump up some protein. We really worked on his sleep. And of course, he had that accountability with weekly check-ins. But basically, my point here is this guy built a system. So he stopped relying on the crash diet. I'm just going to go to the gym and be a maniac and only eat chicken breast. But he actually built out a system. So we built out a strategic roadmap. We started with a 6-month roadmap. We're coming up on 12 months. So here he is 12 months later. He's down about 20 pounds. His strength is through the roof. He is a strong, badass dude. His clothes are fitting better. His joints are feeling good. His energy, libido, all that through the roof. And he recently told me, he said, this is the first year that I didn't have to start over. I just kept going. So think about that. Not starting over, but just continuing. He basically changed his lifestyle habits and slowly, not quickly, slowly transformed his body. But here's the deal. He didn't end up a month later eating a sleeve of Oreo cookies like a crazed rabid raccoon. And that's what being the exception looks like. It means not falling for the quick fix, meaning that you can either lose weight quickly or you can lose it permanently. And again, I hate to say the word lose weight. We want to lose fat here at the Silver Edge. We don't want to lose weight. All right. So if you are ready to stop making the same resolution year after year after year, and if you want a plan that's built specifically for that 50-plus-year-old metabolism, and if you want results without starvation and without burnout, then I want to invite you to join our Silver Edge Collective. The collective is going to give you personalized nutrition support. You're going to know exactly how much to eat and when to change how much you're eating. You're going to have strength training programs that actually work for your body where you are now. So if you're a complete newbie and never worked out before and you don't want to go to a gym, we've got some workouts that are maybe body weight only or maybe bands to get you started. You can do it in the privacy of your own home. If you're intermediate, advanced, we got you covered. You're going to have live weekly coaching calls with me and my coaches. We're going to answer all of your questions. You'll never be in doubt about what your next step is or why you're doing what you're doing. You're going to have built-in accountability. You're going to have people who are going to call you out, call you up, and support you. You've got a wonderful supportive community of men and women just like you in their 50s, 60s, who are all working to build lean, strong, capable bodies. And most importantly, you're going to have a system, a strategic roadmap that you can stick with long term. Think of this more as a framework of lifestyle habits than a diet plan. So what we're not going to do when you get in there is just tell you eat less food or go in this crazy crash diet or do anything goofy or unsustainable. So here's the deal. Enrollment opens December 27th, but that's only, so the 27th goes to the folks that are on our priority wait list. So they get first dibs. They also have first crack at some pretty cool bonuses we have. So if you're a priority list member, you're going to get first access, exclusive bonuses. So if you want 2026 to be different, you got to start with a different strategy. If you guys are interested in joining us over in the Silver Edge Collective this year, I'll throw a link to that. You can learn more over in the show notes. You can get on that priority list if you want to do that. But as we wrap up this episode, just know that most resolutions are going to fail. So the odds are greatly stacked that if you're listening to this and if you have a New Year's resolution, weight loss, or hopefully a fat loss goal or get in shape kind of goal, you're more than likely going to fail. But you don't have to. You can be the exception. When you build the right foundation, when you follow a plan that supports your metabolism and works with your body and not against it, when you get the coaching and the accountability that you need, you can stop starting over. You can start moving forward and you can finally become the exception. All right, that's all I got for you today. Thanks for sticking with me. I appreciate you guys. Go get on that priority waiting list right now if that sounds like something you're interested in. And until next time, folks, stay strong. Okay, folks, that is your Monday Mile for this week. Quick, simple, and packed with power. If you found this helpful, be sure to share it with a friend who's walking their own path to better health. And hey, don't forget to tune in this Wednesday for our full-length episode of the Over 50 Health and Wellness Show. Until then, keep walking, stay consistent, and as always, stay strong.